Believe it or not, guys, today we're gonna be interviewing Putchuco, the leader of Rick Rollers.
Hi there, Payne Walker. It's Putchuco. Glad to be here.
You heard him? Alright, Putchuco, let's begin with the interview. First of all, tell us a bit something about yourself. How did you find The Walking Dead No Man's Land? For how long you've been playing? How often do you play it? Tell us a bit about it.
Gladly. Well, I've been playing games in general for a very long time, starting on a Commodore 64, then PC, then online, now mobile. I have been playing mostly turn-based strategy games like Civilization, Command and Conquer, and those. But I've also loved games like Half-Life or something like this, especially the part where you play with friends and such. I started watching the first episode of the series The Walking Dead when it came out, and it immediately turned me off because in one scene, and you guys might remember that, Rick shoots a little girl walker, and me having a daughter, that one was a no-go. I'm like, okay, that's not my series. Took me a couple of seasons to recover from that. By that time, The Walking Dead was already a big success. And then, like I guess season 4 or 5, I had the opportunity to actually binge watch it all the way through and then catch up. And then not too long after that, actually, is when the game got started. So, and I actually found out in a game ad, I believe. I was playing the other Walking Dead game, A Road to Survival, for quite a long time, also not too unsuccessful, but maybe I got a little bit tired of it, and then I saw this turn-based and everything, loved it, and started a faction in RTS first, um, and wanted to move that faction, as the guilds are called over there, over to No Man's Land. So we tried that for a month, 2 months or so. But most of you guys listening to this know that starting a new guild, even in the very beginning, is not easy. There's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people out there. How do you get the interest? How do you get it going? What do you do with people, going on vacation, falling out, losing interest, and so forth? So that was a tough challenge for me at the time. And then, yeah, that is a little bit the story up to joining No Man's Land.
All right, that's not bad, not bad. Can you give us a bit more information about the history of the legendary guild Rick Rollers?
I sure can. I'm happy to. The Rickrollers were founded in the pretty much in the very beginning of the game. I think like second, third week or so, by a Swede going by the in-game name of Rick Grimes. Well, obviously, a famous name. And he actually overcame the problem I was just talking about of a small guild. And he got a good group together, and they stayed together. They grew, kept motivated. And as a matter of fact, and when I pretty much went to the forum, our next game forum, and said I was looking for a new guild, many answered, which was overwhelming. I didn't expect that. But one caught my attention, and that was from a fellow Rickroller, Drinky. And he sounded just so down to earth and common sense driven that totally spoke to me. So I've joined the Rickrollers in March of 2016, and then was called to be an elder somewhere in June of the same year. And now this year in January, I was called to quote unquote lead the gang together with 25 elders that we have together now. We have
Oh,
about 90 to 100 active members, another 10 to 20 semi-retired or retired people that unfortunately don't play anymore or very little.
all right. They might be back. We never know. Um,
We're trying.
right. Can you tell us a bit about yourself? What your strengths and weaknesses are? Obviously, if you have any. If you don't, that's fine, I guess.
Well, I'm not entirely sure where the question is coming from, but I'm just gonna see if I can hit it. Organization is one of the things that's near and dear to my heart. I'm a project manager in software projects, so dealing with organizational things with people, getting things planned and done is definitely something I enjoy doing, and I think I'm not too bad at it. And the other thing is that I'm quite passionate about is fairness. So every now and then, when I think I need to jump in to make actually a point for the game to be fairer, for us to be fairer, for something in the guild, the game, the whatever, the forum, then I'd be happy to jump in there. I think this is nowadays, especially in my mind, or what the media is telling us also, the news with social media and online forums, that they sometimes get completely, I don't know, overboard. And I think we also had this with the forum, the game forum here. And my own daughter got mobbed, or is getting mobbed, even up to this day in high school. So this is definitely a sensitive issue for me. So mobbing and harassments I think, are very troubling and should be addressed. And I'm very happy, actually, to see that the forum has largely returned to a very positive place where people can voice their questions and opinions.
Yep, I do agree with that. The forum is a better place right now than what it used to be. Yeah, can you explain to us how do you manage your time between playing the game and your personal life as well as work?
Oh man, this is the toughest question. My fellow teammate Urban Cha, or however you pronounce this, I don't even know, um, posted that. I think we're all struggling a little bit with this because the game can be extremely time consuming. I remember well the times before gas boosters, and we could quote unquote only play for, I don't know, an hour, and that every 1 to 3 hours until the gas reloaded and everything. Now with the gas boosters and stuff, we can pretty much stay online in the game around the clock, and we still have the feeling we could have done more, and that's quite challenging, I think. And I see I have been struggling with it, and social life, family life, work balance can suffer from it. I think I somehow, I don't know how, struck a balance there, that I'm finding my slots where I can play. At the beginning of the challenge, I do buy a gas booster because I really like to have the first, I don't know, 800-900 stars out of the way. So then I have a pretty much relaxed end of the challenge and can go into the weekend. I can still do my things, work, family, everything. So that is a little bit of my balance I'm striking there, but I do think it still is a very difficult thing for every one of us. And maybe my words of wisdom, if you would accept them, are that we have to really maybe not take the game too seriously and don't sacrifice anything in real life where it's not worth losing your family or losing your job over, just because you're gaining another spot or so in the rankings. It's got to be fun. The game is there to be fun for us, so let's treat it that way.
Yep, definitely, definitely. Except if you're not playing for money, obviously you're not getting paid for it, you know. But yeah, otherwise, what you said is definitely 100% correct, and I do agree with it because, yes, I do try to balance. Because I do play also a lot of other games apart from No Man's Land, so it's hard to balance between gaming and real life. But yeah, all right, let's move on to the next question from the Governator. How do you know when the game has become an addiction and you need professional help?
I think that's even another notch higher than the previous question. Well, I'm thinking, asking the question might already be a very dangerous indicator. Well, I think we might have all passed that threshold already. I mean, anyone who's playing for a lot of points, that is, let's be honest with ourselves, that is probably an addiction. Is it? When does it become a bad addiction? Well, that's the next question. Well, I can't give you a medical diagnosis, obviously. I think a lot of us are very competitive and we want to see if we can beat someone else in the guild or another guild or get to a certain amount of stars or beat another level we've never reached before. And the typical thinking, at least as I'm seeing it with myself and with my friends, is, oh, just this one more upgrade, this one more round, and then I have this new level, and then it's okay. And then there's another level and another and another. So it never stops. So when you stop, when you have like one pinky superstar that you're very proud of, then you take him to double pink and then triple and quadruple. So really, this is, I mean, the game is structured the way that there is no real end. Some people don't like that. They would like to have an end game. But it's gotta keep us building, gotta keep us progressing. I don't know. I think catching up to some people. I mean, a lot of people are seeing, you see the rankings and you think like, oh, if I keep putting up these stars, I can catch this and that person over there. And then are you going to put in even more time and even more money to catch up to this person? And what have you actually reached at that point? Have you lost the fun in the game along the way? Those would be the questions I ask myself. And I think I see people stop playing it because it disrupts their life too much, because it gets too tedious, because they've never reached a goal that they set themselves or never really defined a goal, but always kept changing the goal that's just a little bit in front of them. So my motto there, and I keep telling my guild the same thing, is, we got to play for fun and for the exchange within the guild, with exchange with our friends in other guilds, on the forum and stuff, and that must be it. Because more, I think that can easily be a bad addiction.
Definitely. So everyone with 1,000 stars and above are pretty much addicted, I guess.
Oh, damn it!
Yeah. Right. Nice. Next question is from Dungeon Master 201. Mr. Putchuco, why are you so popular? Whoa.
I don't know really how to answer that. I don't know that I didn't even know I was popular, or I'm just being infamous like the infamous Guapo. Well, if anything, I would want to be popular for standing up for fairness or popular for treating everyone with respect. I think a point is actually the Rickrollers have been pretty quietly doing their thing. And maybe over the last 6 months or so, I guess we've been more active on the forum, in exchange with the next game, reaching out to other guilds, making more friends in this huge community. And I think that might contribute that me or my guild or both are possibly more visible. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't equate that with popular, maybe just more visible. I don't know.
All right. I mean, there are a lot of new faces, new names on the forums I have read in the past maybe week or two. I guess maybe because the forum got a shout out from the game section. But yeah, nice. Right, let's move on to the next question from Demon Girl. What advice do you have for players that are new to the game?
Well, that is a tough one in a way, because it's been a while that I started fresh. And even most of the new recruits that we get in our guild, they are not completely new to the game. So maybe I started from this way. Look at it this way, that I would recommend don't play alone. It is an incredible amount of fun playing with someone else in a guild with like-minded players, discuss the game, tactics, become friends, possibly even meet in real life. And who knows where that takes you. So I think if we're trading part of our real life for the game, let's make it a great socializing experience, There are so many great guilds out there. They care for their members. They're allowing you to find your own pace. They help you grow. But again, in terms of details on what exactly to do, I might be the wrong person to ask. I mean, obviously, there are some heroes, some traits you should be looking for. Do you have to worry about those in the first month you play? Possibly not. some of the joy of the game is possibly even discover them by yourselves or in a small guild. But I think one of the pitfalls of the game a little bit is that guilds have been a little bit, I don't know, undertreated. So we could have done more for guilds. So we have thousands and thousands of guilds of people in there, and they're never going to leave their guilds anymore, no matter how good or bad they're doing. So they're pretty much stuck in their way. So, and it's a little bit of a shame because some of them, I'm guessing, so please don't feel offended by it if you're in one of those guilds. But they could possibly grow a lot more or have a wider horizon, a lot more, exchange with people that are playing, and bigger guilds, that have the resources, that have the setup, that have all of these things going in.
Yeah, all right. I guess there are a lot of players that do know and can give a lot of tips for beginners. Especially I know players that have second and third accounts and they've been so good at developing them, and it's just crazy. All right, so a question from the interview I used with for week 1 from the community manager at Next Games for the game, TCZ, I believe. All right, what's your favorite challenge map set and why?
That's a good question. I do love tactical maps. So not just maps where I'll go in, kill all, move out. So not just shoot them up. So the almost chess-like moves that we have in Alexandria, they're great. I obviously like Kaboom. A, explosions, who doesn't love that? And B, the certain moves and, spawn points that you can block. I also like maps like Fusebox because they really play very tactical with the gates that you have to open and you can close them again. You can arrange for this. So it's a little bit, I would call this chess-like, that will give you options, and you have to come up with creative ideas, and also are possibly more tempted to use a more diverse team than just go in with 3 hunters. So anything that is a little bit more tactical, more calling for creative solutions, those are the ones that I like. So in particular, Kaboom, Alexandria, the one we're playing this week, is also very nice. So they are very much along those ways. So if we can, have next game create some more of tactical maps like that, I'd be the first to be very happy about that.
All right. I mean, Kaboom seems to be one of the most favorite to a lot of people, even high level people. I guess maybe people do love to just blow walkers up. All right. So, next question, which I really don't know who is it from. A question about the Alexandria challenge you mentioned earlier, about the gate crashing mission. Name one effective strategy combo that you would recommend for high-level playing. Obviously, you have to pair it with one of the heroes, and the person is looking for survivor traits, weapons, and armors that you're going to recommend.
Yeah, I think the question's from week 1. I think she thought that was
is it?
A good thing to ask.
All right.
Okay, in that challenge we had, if I remember correctly, we had the hunter bonus. So it was definitely, encouraged to use 2 hunters plus a hero. And here I liked using either Daryl for his extra critical chance, or Sasha to get the extra charge points. Those helped definitely a lot. And as a matter of fact, during that challenge, I was lucky enough, or possibly tenacious enough, to collect a token for long enough to finally get my first triple pink hunter ready for this high-level play in this challenge, in this map. And also my first rifle with incendiary, which is great fun to play with. So that also helped, but no matter what, I mean, even without an incendiary trait on your rifle and without a triple pink hunter, which not too many will have, it's definitely doable to go 6, 7, possibly 8 levels above your survival levels if you obviously go in prepared to wrestle in the worst case. There is no stun in there because they're only normal walkers. So this is something you want to prep for. And then the other thing, which is most probably true for most of the maps, but in this one in particular, is inform yourself of the walker spawning points. Can you block them? In what sequence are they coming? So for every push of the gate, a couple of more walkers spawn. You prepare for them. Sometimes the walkers don't fall. They're hanging on to their dear lives, and they have these the last rest of their lives hanging there. They're not quite dead, so you can't just roll it off like a programmed machine. So you got to prepare a little bit for those situations. And I think the extra push then would be, and one of my teammates, Kaylee, showed us that very nicely the other day, is actually instead of me, I'm usually cleaning out the map before I open up the gate a little bit more. And I think the next level would be, well, open up the gate a little bit more. See that there is another spawn that actually spawns right in front of you. So you were shooting at an existing walker, you get another one in front, and you kill two birds with one stone, possibly with a charged rifle. So you got to think ahead, is my point here a little bit, because time will run out, more and more walkers will jump at you. So sometimes you got to think a little bit ahead. How can you, close it out as fast as possible before they overwhelm you?
All right. You need to be my teacher, by the way. I mean, I'm just learning so much stuff. But yeah, all right. No, very nice answer, very detailed answer. I hope I hope week one is satisfied with the answer. Let's move on to a question from RFG 1982. How do you view the current range and melee situation in the game, and what would be a great improvement looking ahead? All right. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I think that's a discussion almost everybody has in their guilds or with their friends. So my friend Raphael here, he's actually the one suggesting the Sasha at 200 setup in the Alexandria gate crashing to me. And interestingly enough, my very first pal I played the game with, Tutis, so if you're out there, there's a shout out to you. He came over from Infaction and from RTS also. And he was a big believer, 3 hunters, that's it. That's all he needs. Just invest in them and they will take care of everything. I said yeah, they're very powerful. It's great, but doesn't that get a little bit boring? So I'm really one, I'd like to have options. I love the strategy, the tactical challenge, different solutions for different problems. So I think in a way, the heroes are already a great way of spicing up our teams and our strategies. So if there's any recommendation I can, give to you listening in here, use all your heroes at some point. Just try them out, just see how they work, and you will possibly develop a lot further. You will think differently about traits and how to play things, faster, quicker, in terms of charge points, spawn points, and those kind of things. So that is one. Back to the question, ranged, I believe we can easily agree, are still the go-to survivors in the game. I think everybody will go first for their assault and hunter, possibly their shooter, and then think again if they need something. I think that Next Games did make quite some advancements in terms of melee. So the extra step for the scouts was a super idea. I love that. The higher damage for warrior and bruisers, okay. Wasn't, super invention, but it helped. I think the punish trait for bruisers helps also. So everybody's reevaluating, is this maybe something we can use later in high level challenges or missions. That said, I would love to use melee more, but I think the simple fact that these survivors are already next to the enemy before they can do any damage, they are already prone to get hit. get damaged. So it makes them, by definition, a very dangerous choice. So if you want to go out unharmed, they might not be the ones, because if you're always right in the face of the walker, you have to kill him with this one strike you have, or maybe the double strike, or you're going to get hit. At that point, or to counteract, I think the interrupt dodge scenario, where we all felt like Neo in the Matrix, that was quite fun and made Melee super important and almost unbeatable. I think, it was the right decision to actually downgrade them. I was not happy about it myself, but it was just getting too strong, the combination of unbeatable, interrupt, and dodge. So the next thing that comes to mind is threat reduction is a great invention that is very desirable in many maps and helps Melee, especially the ones using it, the scouts. And then if you pair them with a Jeebus or a Michonne or something, that adds a lot of new options. And if, now talking about Michonne, if Overwatch and Retaliate would work in the same turn, kind of like as a double hit, and they don't at the moment, just in case you wonder, and if Michonne's traits would work flawlessly, I think that would be really, really helpful and get Melee another boost that might make us all think of using them more. Right. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe the Melee needs a bit more buffs, but they do have the weekly events where they have the increased damage bonus. They have the damage bonus increase, I believe, like by 50% or something like that. But yeah, we never know. They might be buffing them soon, or we never know. We never know, really. Right. So moving on to the next question from Chris. What's your favorite / most used class in Hero, and why?
By the way, that was a great point you just made on the damage buff each challenge, because that really helps us, to go away from the triple hunter teams in those. So that is definitely a great point. Nevertheless, yes, also very good question. My go-to class is still hunter, I have to admit, but I do love shooter with range. That gives me a lot of options, especially against Freeman, obviously, because you're outside of their range. And that helps a lot. And scout with threat reduction, as I said earlier, because that adds a lot of tactical options to the game. And then mixing them up, with a certain hero to kind of play to their strength or to the mission that you're in. My go-to hero, obviously, I guess like everybody does it, is Maggie to farm. And Abe to, power up range teams in most scenarios. I think both are very obvious. In trickier maps, in highest level, it's like I'm talking 28, 29, 30, which is like 6, 7, 8 above your survival level. I definitely like Sasha and Rufus for their addition, or them adding charge points to the team in tough situations. So what Rufus every spawn, or Sasha with every body shot. And maybe as we're talking Sasha here, I mean, it might come not really as a surprise to most, but those that are somewhat new to the game and playing Sasha now, consider pairing it with luck on your assault survivors, for example, and not piercing, because you want to force body shots. The more body shots, the higher the chance you get charge points, and the better you can stun the enemies. So maybe that helps a little bit.
All right. I guess the new hero Morals leader trait is useful to some extent in the high level, like walkers, like level 28, 29, with the damage boost. I believe it gives quite a lot.
Yeah, that could help a lot. I'm hearing, at first all my guildies, they were all happy about it and like, oh, this is going to be this new superhero. But we thought a similar thing with Tara at the time. Oh, her healing power is going to be overpowered. in the end, it turned out, nah, it's really not that great. I'm not really sure if Merle's gonna turn the tides here. I don't think his boost is that good, but I mean, I don't have him unlocked yet, so I haven't played with him. And plus, if you have one of those in rare or even epic, it's going to be tough to take him into those end game battles. So it's going to be a while before we can actually use them in really challenging missions.
That's true. That's true. Although his leader trait was a community requested leader trait, as well as the governor, so they did bring it. But yeah, all right, we'll see. I guess we need a bit more time for people to unlock him and then test him out because, yeah. All right. So next question is from Victor. What are your favorite traits and why?
Well, the most important gear trait, I think, is obviously wrestling. Without it, there is no high-level game, pretty much. So my favorite would have to be either extra range on the guns for shooters, or threat reduction on weapons. Armor, I mean, I do like, on top of wrestling and stun resistant, I like ruthless. That is definitely something that can really cause some severe damage addition there. That was going to be great. On survivors, it would have to be luck. And I agree with week one. I remember she said the same thing, and I had to laugh when I listened to it. Yeah, I totally agree with her. I mean, even though it has been reduced quite a bit, but it works on so many other traits that you cannot ignore it. Yep.
I believe everything in this game is based on luck anyway, so you need to be lucky for everything in this game.
Life is based on luck.
Everything. Let's move on to the final question for part 1. So, name your favorite traits for survivor, weapon, and armor for the warrior class. Alright.
Oh boy. Well, I have to admit, I do struggle using warriors. I haven't used them in a while. And when I do it probably wrong because I'm just out of practice with them. And it probably doesn't do them justice. I see some of my friends use them quite effectively, either Michonne or Jesus. So what I do value, I mean, obvious is got to be the wide arc on the weapon. And that's almost a must-have. Possibly the interrupt when you use them in outpost, not in higher levels, because then interrupt ceases to work. Ruthless, wrestling, stun resist, pretty much the usual on armor. Luck, strong, power strike on the survivor. And I'm actually, for the reasons I said before, looking for my own new supers warrior to see if I can retry it, and hopefully do him justice. I think Bruiser's Day got a super boost, and they caught my attention again with this punish trait. So maybe if warriors had a special trait like this, however, maybe they can step back again from move, attack, move, but in smaller steps, something like this. I mean, it has been discussed on the forum, but I think they deserve a little bit more of a special trait like threat reduction for the scouts and punish for the bruisers.
Yep, definitely, I believe. Right, that's it for part 1 of the interview with Putchuco. Part 2 is coming out shortly, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video.